So, good morning. At the outset, I am indebted to AOS team ARC for my inclusion. Refraction is the quintessential part of the residency training, and probably it is so-called the proverbial holy cow for the postgraduates, giving them nightmares during the exam time. So now it is time to probably there can never be a better time than now to rethink, do we really actually, what is the relevance of refraction training in the present day practice? I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yes. Yeah. So the grand narrative is refraction. Every postgraduate student should learn everything about refraction. So this is something that we have been told for a long, long time. But is refraction really needed? That is the question that we need to answer. It's a $1,000,000 question. So I think, what is refraction needed for? I think obviously for the exams, because the examiners need it. It's a refraction that the examiners know too well, and that is one situation where even elementary mistakes in refraction is not taken too kindly. So that is the reason which the driving force for the postgraduates to learn refraction. In fact, personally, my claim to fame has been refraction. I've been teaching refraction for the last 15 years, probably which has given me more credentials than my other subspecialty. But the second thing is, it's also, we say that it's important for day-to-day practice. I think that is something that we need to actually dissect it further. Do we really need to learn refraction the way that we are teaching today to our postgraduates? The reality check is after passing an exam, learning some last minute refraction and getting through the exam. A resident actually joins a medical college, let us say, as a senior resident or maybe as an assistant professor. But in the medical college, there is an abundance of hands. There are a lot of people to do refraction. There are employed optometrists, there are optometry students, there are postgraduates, there are fellows. So there is no actually a reason or a necessity for this person to actually do refraction himself. When he joins a group practice or a corporate practice, maybe let us say some of the corporate practices that we have across the country, I'd say it's a well-oiled system where there's always an optometrist who's very well trained, highly qualified to take care of that part of the thing. And private practice, very rarely, probably, if somebody is starting a solo private practice, and if he thinks that he cannot do refraction himself, he will always probably employ one refractionist for the sake. So meaning to say that probably we don't really need to know refraction in great length just for our. So what are some reasons to learn refraction? We have been always telling this. It's a basic obligation. Refraction is the actual physiological function of the eye. So we need to know refraction. And I think every subspecialty, be it cataract surgery, refractive surgery, be it squint specialty, low vision aids, anything, even retina for that matter, CSCR also leads to hyperopia. So everything is linked to some way or the other to refraction, we say. And if there's nobody else, if there's no autorefractometer working, where optometrist is not available, you need to have some contingency measure that you do yourself. And also probably for the respect for some old school sentiments, we need to learn it. But when we foray into the 21st century way forward, we need to kind of reassess our refraction training. Do we really need to teach refraction the way we are doing it now? Because probably just like the Oish lobby taking over our modern medicine or allopathic things, or as in the West, or maybe in America, USA, you have an optometrist lobby which is stronger than the ophthalmologist lobby. Probably sooner or later, the optometrist lobby may become so big, so influential that probably it may lead our chambers and probably can become somebody else's job altogether. And we need to actually have a specific manpower training for a specific job. Okay, just like in Japan, they have for a free flap for a vascular anastomosis job only. They have trained specific boys and girls who are not medical doctors just to do that particular surgical step. So we should diversify and have a specific manpower training. If somebody is very good at refraction, why not just allow him to do that? Okay, and you do the rest, the cream of the job. And obviously technology will probably come in a big way. You already have a lens cart minis everywhere. So there are people visiting your houses to check refraction and give glasses, and there are a lot of online e-commerce going on. Probably that will also bite into this pound of flesh of a refraction practice. So now, how do we really train our residents? I think it's very important that we have to teach them the vision assessment and the physiological optics, which goes without saying, and basic retinoscopy. Now we don't have any dark rooms. Obviously, we use streak retinoscope. So retinoscopy and trying to find the acceptance, subjective correction, maybe subjective verification, like Jackson's cross cylinder, or astigmatic dial usage for astigmatism, verification, for cylinder verification, duochrome test, binocular balance for a binocular balancing. See, all these actually need to be learned in its theoretical aspects, and it's linked to the routine work. And obviously gadget, what we have found is across the country, most of the postgraduates are not well used to using autorefractometers or lensometers and things like that. I think because it has always been kept, normally we have to encourage our postgraduates to use these gadgets because they become more familiar, because that is the way probably the future will probably head us to. So what is very important is the applied refraction. How we link every basic concept of refraction to various subspecialties, cataract surgery, refractive surgery. So all these things. So how we connect the two. So this is probably more important than teaching them the elementary refraction only and not going forward. And obviously, there's always a curriculum of refraction that is in every health university. And to persist with this curriculum, to make it mandatory, and also to get the feel of the curriculum to the postgraduate is probably the need of the hour. And we have enough online resources. It's very pathetic that our postgraduate do not use the abundant online resources to learn refraction. There are a lot of resources where you can actually do retinoscopy and try to get the kind of movement of the images. So horizontal integration is what is important. We need to integrate refraction to every other aspect of ophthalmology. I think if you are given 4 hours to cut a tree, you need to spend 3 hours to sharpen the saw, and maybe the remaining 1 hour should be enough to cut the tree. That is what is the whole idea. So now time has come to sharpen the saw, and time has come to reassess the very need and the very approach of teaching refraction to our postgraduates. Just by instilling fear about these questions will be asked in the exam, if that is the whole driving force to learn refraction, not a real opportunity in the future to make your practice more fruitful, I think we are actually missing the whole train. I think the whole idea is to kind of get the students back into the game, get them the horizontal integration, and to connect refraction to every aspect of ophthalmic training. At the same time, create a paramedical staffing to help you so that you don't waste your valuable time in doing refraction and giving a subjective correction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
so much.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. KP. I think we could have an expert opinion. Dr. Grover sir is here, one of the the senior most teacher amongst us. So how have you been, inculcate that practice of refraction in the postgraduates other than exam? And how many of your postgraduates over the years have done refraction or mastered that art?
I think I agree entirely with KP that refraction has become a forgotten art, and where candidates do it during their post-graduation or residency, it is entirely to be able to appear in the examination, because they have not really grasped the utility in their day-to-day practice. And the arrival of assistance by optometrists and the availability of autorefractometers has had a major role to play in it. But they need to really understand the clinical relevance of being able to make a lot of decisions based on their retinoscopy. When they do their retinoscopy, they also simultaneously grasp a lot of things. And they also know a number of situations where autorefractometry can be fallacious, may not be correct. It needs to be augmented. particularly in the younger children where they may not be cooperative enough for that. Those with subluxated lenses, those with the opticals area which is irregular, where there are reflexes which are not exactly very appropriate for autoref results. Those are all situations where you get a lot of clues from your retinoscopy. And I think they need to work on that, and they need to understand that. Only then once they know the relevance, they will learn it well.
Thank you, Grover, sir. I think